So for those of you that it's your first time meeting me, my name is Ann Antonelli. There is also another woman, my partner in crime, Gwen Colbeth. For those of you that know me quite well, you know that Gwen and I have been working together for a long time. We have known each other literally my entire life. And we are basically TTC. We bring on other trainers to help us when we get other projects, but it's always been Gwen, myself, and my husband that have been running TTC. So TTC is a small company out of Denver, Colorado. We focus on Maximo training. I have been doing Maximo training since 2007. I've actually been teaching computer software for over 30 years now. Gwen has also been working with Maximo since 2007. So even though she doesn't show herself and she doesn't teach classes, she is the power behind all of our courseware and all of our training materials and all of that. So if you've worked on projects with her where she's customized your training materials, you know that she has just as much Maximo knowledge as I do. While we do our Ask the Trainer today and go through our agenda items, any questions that you guys have, I encourage you, as soon as you think of the question, throw it into the chat. If Gwen can answer the question right then and there, she will. If she can't, you'll see on our agenda, we do have a specific time slot where I'll be answering questions, I'll be showing things if you need me to, all that type of stuff. So for our agenda today, we've kind of put it together where we're going to do an introduction and just talk quickly about what is the difference between Maximo and this Mass 9 Manage or Mass 8 Manage, if you guys happen to be on Mass 8 instead of Mass 9. So we'll just clarify that for everyone. I'm going to go in and log into the environment, show you our brand new environment that just came up this week. We are still building out all of our data in our environment, getting ready for our first set of classes next Tuesday. And we'll show you things like what is different about logging in and logging out, and what is different about just the interfaces. And I have a desk guide that I'll show you guys that we can email to you after this for free. So whether you're going to Maximo to the Mass 9.0, if you went there, or if you move up to Mass 9.1, or if there are changes once we get into Mass 9.2, we'll be continuously updating this desk guide. And basically the desk guide is, here's all the interface changes for the difference between Maximo 7.6 and this new version. I am going to show the role-based application work orders today and show you a little introduction of what role-based applications are all about. You'll see on another slide that there are a lot of role-based applications. So I'm just going to go over one quick so that you can kind of understand what they are. We'll also be doing a couple of tips and shortcuts today that are valid information for any version of Maximo that you're in. Today specifically, we're going to do it on our work order relationships. And then we'll do a Q&A session. I have a really quick poll for you. It's very informal because my Teams is still battling with me and it didn't let me create a formal poll in Teams. So you're going to get a PowerPoint slide and you're going to put into chat what you guys want to see for the next 5 months. And then at the very end, I'll wrap up with some information. It says just TTC website and training offerings, but I have a couple of other things. I put together a slide for upcoming Maximo user groups around the different regions in the country, and then some other places you guys can go to get information about Maximo, stuff like that. So that is the agenda that I'm working with today. And it's a lot of information for us to get through in 1 hour. So for those of you that are still in earlier versions of Maximo, Maximo 7.6.1 is the most recent earlier version, but I do know at least one organization that is still on Maximo 7.5 because of their customizations. Everything prior to Maximo 7.6.1, if you wanted additional features or applications that they had been developing, You purchased separate applications and you purchased separate licenses. So for example, if you were nuclear and you wanted the nuclear add-on to go on to Maximo 761, you actually purchased that software. You purchased licenses for the users that were going to use that in addition to Maximo. This whole Maximo Application Suite, what IBM did starting with Mass 8, which actually deployed its very first time quite some time ago, I'm thinking 2019 or 2020, right before COVID, is when Mass 8 deployed for the first time. The Maximo Application Suite refers to all of these add-ons, all of these industry solutions, all of these different products that IBM has put together that work with what we've always called Maximo. They're all on a single platform and they all use a single licensing system referred to as app points. So now what happens is when we log into our Maximo system, we log into the landing page for Maximo Application Suite. And then what we know as our applications that we have used forever in Maximo are now part of what is called the manage applications. It's where we manage our assets. So when I log in, I'll show you that landing page and I'll kind of show you some information. If you want more information about all these other applications like monitor, predict, health, the facility maintenance add-on, the nuclear add-on, the utilities add-on, all of those things are part of the Maximo Application Suite. There is a free class out at IBM, and I can put this URL into our chat. They've updated it to 2024. It is updated to Mass 9.0. It was originally built for Mass 8.0, but it gives you, it's a 6-hour online class where you even take little quizzes and everything, and you watch all these different videos and you learn about all of the add-on tools that are a part of the Maximo Application Suite. So yes, it's a lot of time to take it for 6 hours, but I highly, highly recommend taking the time to look at it, especially if you have not yet updated and upgraded up to Mass 9, to give you an idea of what those other applications are and what your organizations will have access to in the future. So I have a quick question. We have 18 people on, including Gwen, but I'm going to ask everyone in Teams, if your organization has upgraded to Maximo Application Suite, whether it's version 8, 9, 9.1, whatever, if you've upgraded, I would like you to go to the top of your Teams tab and click on the raise hand button, just so I can see a raise of hands and see how many organizations have actually upgraded. So I'm seeing that no organization currently represented has updated yet. Okay, so that actually tells me a little bit more about what you guys are going to say in the poll later. I will say the project itself, the technical side, it's a project. And any organization that tells you they're going to get it done for you in 6 months, plan for 9 months to a year, because it's not their fault. They could really get it done in 6 months if they had every decision and everything that you needed to do on your side done before they started. But I've been through a couple of these now, and that never happens. Denver Water did upgrade in 9 months, which I thought was extremely fast. So a lot of organizations are choosing to do what's called a lift and shift upgrade at this point. We're not changing anything. We're just going to get ourselves on that new version so that we have support from IBM, and we'll figure out changes along the way. TTC is here to help. Whether you're still on 7.6, I'm going to give you resources for that, or you are getting ready to go to Mass 9, we are officially back in business and ready to help. We have our own Maximo Application Suite 9.1. We have TRM hosting it for us, and you guys will be able to see and actually engage in training live on our environment again. As I said, we have our very first class running next Tuesday. So the first thing I want to show you after this then is this slide. I know that I'm missing things on this slide. So if anyone happens to know of applications that I've missed, throw them into the chat and let me know so I can update this slide. But I think I got most of them. These are just the new applications that you get when you lift and shift moving from Maximo 7.6 to Mass 9 9.1. We went from 176 applications to 198 applications. That's actually in the security group when you download. The role-based applications are changing with every version. We're getting new ones with every version. And I'm going to bring up just on my other screen, I wanted to let you know, for those of you that have kind of been reading things out on moremaximo.com or Tech Exchange or any of those, the role-based applications are what are referred to as the new graphite development. This development is literally, and I'm going to show you the work orders application today so you can see it. It is being developed in programming language that makes it available on mobile devices of all sizes, from your phone to an iPad to whatever type of mobile device you have. But it's also available on laptops and desktops, and it looks, feels, and works the exact same way. That is the way that anything that is going to be used by the users out in the field themselves, that is where IBM is heading, is these role-based applications with this graphite development. Now, these older applications, like our scheduling applications that the tool has been brought in, or like our job plans and PMs and things like that, those applications are referred to as the carbon versions. As in carbon dating, they are old. That's what IBM refers to them as. There will always be carbon versions of applications because planners and schedulers don't usually work out in the field. They work in an office where they need more features than can be given on mobile devices at this time. But this list here is all of the new applications that you didn't have in 7.6 unless you bought add-ons, and now you get them in Mass 9, Mass 8, Mass 9, Mass 9.1. And this is hopefully up to date to 9.1. I guess the one thing I just realized I'm missing is the Maximo mobile applications. You don't see any of the Maximo mobile applications here, so I'll have to add that. But Maximo Mobile is also included in the Manage application now. It's not a separate add-on that you purchase anymore. Okay, so I am going to switch screens here, and I'm going to bring on my environment.
Hello, Ann. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Some of us are having issues with the chat. I think it looks to be blocked. If that's intentional, that's fine. But I think when you were asking a question earlier.
Yeah, it is not intentional. Let me see. I see that one person, Dinesh, has been able to put something into the chat.
Maybe it's an issue with our site, but yeah, it says it's turned off on our end, and there's 5 of us from the group, but no big deal. We can proceed.
Yep, it looks like other people are able to put it, so it must be something on your end, but feel free to take yourself off mute then and ask questions. I don't want you guys not to be able to ask questions just because your chat isn't working. So, okay. So this is our login screen, our new login screen. This icon that they created, Maximo Manage, is the Rubik's Cube looking item in the middle, and then everything else is all of the new things that they're including in our Maximo Application Suite. I'm just going to go ahead and log in here. Unfortunately, the new minimum password is 15 characters, so our students are going to have to remember 15 character passwords, but we're working really hard to make them simple. So when you first log in, we have left IBM Blue. We are now IBM Black. Everything is black, gray, and white. At first, I hated it, but as I move into the different screens, I think one of the things that you guys will see is there are some advantages to it. Now, I'm just going to get rid of, in my bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to do that. And then let me see. It brought me right here to my landing spot. It did not bring me. And it's not showing up at the bottom to let me go back into the application suite. So let me see here. Well, let me do it this way. It's going to be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to just close it and reopen it because I want everyone to see the landing page. One of the improvements I think started at 9.1, but I think they worked on it during 9.0, is that once you've logged in once, you don't necessarily have to keep seeing that landing page every time, but I want everyone here to be able to see it. So here we go. Okay, so the first time each day that you log into Maximo, you are going to get this Suite Navigator. Now, most organizations are set up just the same way we are, where Manage has the little green check mark next to it, and all of these other add-on tools that I was talking about, Monitor Health, Predict, Visual Inspections. When it says Learn More, that means that you have not turned them on. It doesn't mean that you cannot turn them on. Every one of them is there on your install. You have to do a couple of configuration steps when you turn them on, but you don't have to go buy new licenses and you don't have to buy new user certificates or anything like that. Everything is used through the app points that you use for Manage. And it's based on how you set up your users in the mass user application. So then when we go in, we launch our Manage application, and that's where we land on our traditional start centers. So whatever start centers your users have right now in the current version that you're in, those would be the start centers that they would come into. There is a new application called Dashboards. Dashboards allow you to create a more powerful version of a start center. And those dashboards are one of the topics I'm going to offer to you guys as one of the next Ask the Trainer. We're working on a class on how to, transfer your start centers essentially into dashboards and then share the dashboards and all of that. But essentially, I get into my start center, and the first thing you'll notice is on the left-hand side, you have lots of little icons. I don't know that I will ever learn most of these icons. I've learned that this one icon that I'm about to touch is for assets. So when I mouse over it, it pops out my menu. I've learned that my last one on the list is always work orders. So the menu pops open. If you want the menu to stay open, you can click on your hamburger button up in the upper left-hand corner one time. It becomes an X to close it. Everything is very vertical because this home screen is set up to work the same way on desktops, laptops, and mobile devices. So you're going to see that everything is much more linear vertically than horizontally. You're going to see that if you have big wide screens like I'm showing you on today, there's going to be white space on the right-hand side. But if I want to navigate with this screen open, I can click on work orders and it will drop down vertically for me. If I click on assets, it will drop down vertically. Any of the modules that have role-based applications, you'll see role-based at the very bottom, and it'll show you what those role-based applications are. Okay, so If you're on 7.6 and you're heavily into work centers using the inspections and the technicians work center, those are actually role-based already. If you did the upgrade to 7.6.1.3 and then one of the fixed packs, it gives you these role-based applications for inspections and the technicians work center. So then you already have a couple of those role-based applications. If I want to, let's say, go into my assets application, everything is still just a click once. Because I opened this with the hamburger button, this menu with the hamburger button, I have to close it with the hamburger button. Your common actions, more actions, that stays the same on your left-hand side. They did change available queries a little bit. They have available queries set up automatically closed. And then if you click on it so that that arrow points up, then all of your saved queries, all bookmarks, and all records are available to you. So that's a little bit different, but common actions and more actions are pretty much the same as what they've been before. Your filter fields are always available. Your Bumblebee has been replaced with this really ugly box, which I have no idea why they did that. But for those of you that normally come into any application and you press enter on your keyboard, that still brings you your list of records. If you're used to clicking on the curved arrow, it's a double curved arrow, but it still opens all of your records. And if you ever knew that you could click on that Bumblebee to get that list, you can still click on the box. If you're in very early version 8 of Maximo Application Suite, the box does nothing. But by late version 8.9, 10, 11, and versions 9, it brings you your list of your assets. Now, one of the things you'll see in our environment, we purchased a SaaS environment for our training through Total Resource Management. They are the hosting company that we're working with, and we are not going to be training with demo data anymore. We are training with data that we have created to simulate environments for our clients. We have a brand new organization, and we can add sites to that organization for our specific users. If we have training that wants to happen and they want to supply us with a group of locations and assets, we can create a site for them and they'll be able to do that. So it's a little bit slower to get the setup done. That's why we only have 38 active and operating assets right now. But, you know, we wanted to make sure that we had total control over what we were showing in our classes. In our open drill down, we did learn through our install, if you have already moved to this, what's referred to as this extended drill down that was available as of 7.6.1, when you upgrade, you'll move to the extended drill down. If you are still in the old drill down, where your locations are on one tab and your assets are on another tab, there is just a database configuration that you enable, and you can do a live update, or your IT group can do a live update, and you immediately have this new extended drill down. The great thing about the extended drill down is as you go through things, you'll see everything in red is your location level. Everything in blue is your asset level. And then anything with these little shields with the check mark, those are your PMs. And then as you go through further, and I'm not sure how far we are in our setup quite yet, but if you have spare parts listed as well, the spare parts will actually be there and say what spare parts you need. And depending on what you click on this left-hand side, the data shows up differently on your right-hand side. Now, this is available in 7.6. If you guys need to know what that database configuration or the system setting is that needs to be enabled to get this in 7.6, shoot me an email or put it in the chat and let me know, and I will send that information over to you. But it's really nice to be able to look at the information a little bit further. Even with the PMs, you can see that this particular oil change test PM is set up at the location level for a route for multiple vehicles all at once. Whereas if we look at the quarterly elevator one is too, because I've been playing around with routes and inspections to try to figure something out. But if it's a regular PM, you'll just see more of the PM information on it. So that is our drill down. Let me see. Let me cancel out of here. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to navigate over to work orders, and I'm going to open up work order tracking and show you. We don't have very many work orders yet. We've just kind of been playing around in here, but I want to open up a work order and show you some other changes. The work order form, this is where I started actually liking the gray background, the white, and the black, because I think it's much more straightforward. One of the things as a trainer that I've always struggled to show people is what can you make changes to and what can you not make changes to, especially in different statuses. This particular work order is in the waiting to schedule status. It is really straightforward now. I can make a change to this, there we go, to this description because it has a white background. I can put my initials in front of it and say test. And now up in my upper right-hand corner, all your buttons that used to be on the left are on the right now so that everything can resize appropriately for all monitors and tablets and things like that. But now I can save it. And I also have under common actions, I have that save as well. So if you're used to being over on your left, you can definitely still get over to the left. But most of our buttons have moved over to our right-hand side. I could change the work type. I could say it's emergency maintenance. So anything that has a white background, I can change the value of. If it has the gray background, like location, I may go in and open that location. I can do a show path to top, and I can say, well, I want this work order to be at the administration office building level. I'm told I cannot edit the field. Okay, so anything with that gray background, you cannot edit the fields. Anything with the white background, you can. For those of you in 9.0 and some of the Mass 8 versions, actually nobody's upgraded, so I don't have to worry about that. When you get to Mass 9, they went through a phase where these little check boxes that we have were like these levers. People didn't like the levers. As of 9.1 and 9.2, we're back to our check boxes again. If I create a new work order, our little plus symbol here has become very, very important. On the left-hand side, it says new work order and that plus symbol is there. That is now the overall new anything. So whether it's a new work order that I'm creating from scratch, or let me go to my plans tab and I want to create a new child work order or new tasks, or go down and add new labor for planned labor. Everything uses that plus sign now. In earlier versions, they actually got rid of the new row button. We got it back. So now we have the new row button and the plus sign for everything we do. If we're just straight out of the box and we don't have anything like rules manager or automation scripts written, all of our required fields just have this little red star next to them. If you have other things like automation scripts or rules manager, you may also have a different background or frame. That's something that can be done so that we can create our new records. So before I move to looking at some of the newer applications, do you guys have any questions on this new interface? Is there anything specifically you'd like to see that you want to see if it looks the same? So Dinesh, that's a great question about whether or not it's a different skin. One of the things that IBM did when they moved to Maximo Application Suite is there's no skin versions anymore. So they've been talking in 9.2 that you can do some configurations to make it look like the older skins, but in let's say, so like in Maximo 7.6, especially in 7.6.1, we actually had a system setting where we could make it look like the old 7.5, where we didn't have common actions and more actions. We still had the select value menu. And then we had the black version versus the blue version in 7.6.0 versus 7.6.1, and we could look at those different skins. Mass is all one skin. It is all black. It is all like this. If you are on 9.1, I believe our version is 9.1.04. If you're on 9.1 or higher, you have this look and feel that we are seeing in this environment. Now, 9.0 looks different than this, and 8.11 and 12 look different than this. But 9.1 reset things back. And there are no skin options. There are what you mentioned configuration items, but I'm not aware that the new row is a configuration item that you can show or hide. I can look into it. I can definitely check it out. But a lot of it was put back because enough organizations had moved to the later versions of Mass 8 and the earliest 9.0 and complained about the way things looked and felt. And when they complained, they put it into the ideas website and basically got enough votes to put things back the way they were. So that's why we have the plus sign and still have the new row button.
Sorry, and when you said we got it back, I thought we meaning your training org got it back. You meant the entire community got it back. Got it. Okay, yeah.
Mass 9.1 got it back. Yeah. So that's a great point. We is Mass 9.1. 9.0, when I helped Denver Water move up to 9.0, there's a lot of things that they don't have yet. They don't have that new row button. I had to do all the training saying you have to hit that plus sign. But IBM put in 9.1, they put the new row button back. So one other thing they put back, there's this new, I call it the snowman button. Some places it's called the overflow menu button. Other places they just refer to it in IBM Help as the vertical ellipsis button. When you click on it, it's all the buttons we used to have where we could do attribute searches, we could save queries, we could manage queries, we could see our bookmarks, all of that. They used to have the advanced search dialog box in this menu. People didn't like it because it took too many clicks to get to the advanced search dialog box. This first magnifying glass is your find field that you used to have over on the left-hand side. It's now over on the right-hand side. The one with the plus sign next to it, as of 9.1, is how you get to your more search fields. So that was another thing that was in the ideas, that they moved it out of this menu so there weren't as many clicks. But the other buttons are still in that menu. So that's another look and feel. Let me just bring up the desk guide so you guys can see this. So if you cannot put things into chat, you are more than welcome to just, reply back or whatever to the invite, or email me at any of the 3 email addresses I now have for TTC. This is a TTC desk guide that we are giving away for free. I'm showing you the Word version, but we send it to you guys in the PDF. You can go in, and this is literally what we've used as training when you are moving from 7.6 to Mass 9 with no new features and no new business rules and no new applications. And then if you have business rules and things, then you can add that to your training. But this is a desk guide that shows all the stuff where it was in 7.6 and where it is now in Mass 9. And we have one for 9.0 and one for 9.1 because there are differences between them. The 9.0 one would also work for 8, 11, and 12 if anyone is in the midst of their project and they're not going to go straight to 9.1. So if you guys are interested in this desk guide, please let me know and we will email it to you right after the session, because you can just send it out or you can print copies of it, and it just gives everyone a little bit of help on where to find things and what things changed. And you can see here, I think I opened, this one still has the old levers back and forth. So you can kind of see a couple of the changes. Okay, anything else before I go into the role-based applications? So remember, the role-based applications are what are considered the new graphite programming, meaning they work the exact same no matter what type of a device you work on them with. Now, when you set up the security groups for these role-based applications, if you have Maximo Mobile set up as well, these applications have the capabilities of working offline with the offline database. Okay, so these applications work online, whether it's on a mobile device, on a laptop, on a desktop, but they have the capability, if you do the Maximo Mobile setup with the database that's downloaded onto your mobile devices, to also be able to work offline. I'm not going to have time to show every cool thing about them, but role-based applications is one of the options for the poll. I want to show you why I love these new role-based applications, because they give users the ability to do something that we've never been able to do before. Over here is a little button that says Manage Columns. I can click on Manage Columns. It shows me, now it doesn't show them linear very easily, but it shows me the different columns I already have. I have a button here to manage the columns. Here are my columns that I have over on the right-hand side. Let's say that the scheduled start date is not something that I really care about. I can remove that from the columns just with the X right there. Let's say what I need is I need things like I need the supervisor field and I need the priority field. Let me not put commas between them. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to grab the supervisor field. I click the check mark on here. It goes to the bottom of my list over on the right-hand side. Now I'll do priority. And I want work order priority specifically. And then I just go ahead and click OK. And now it's added them to the end here. I want this whole view to be organized by the supervisor. So I'm going to drag, I'm holding my mouse button, drag and drop. And then I want priority to be between work order and description, something like that. So I choose how I want it to look. And then I close this manage, and now I have this information. And if I have supervisors, and I actually have not put any supervisors in mine yet, I should have done that, but you can see with priorities, you can organize it. So these particular role-based applications, now there's a little dialog box that will come up at the top when I have it fully set up. We're still figuring out how the security groups work with it, where I can save this view that I have, like you save queries over in the regular applications. So these role-based applications allow the user to customize their columns, and then the user is able to save their custom column settings as a view in these role-based applications. And then they can have multiple views that they can organize things in. And Rita, you're asking, is this in a work order role? That's the part we haven't completely set up yet. Yes, the role-based applications are available just in the security group to turn on, but then you also have to add them to this role to get all of the features of it. We just got our environment on Monday of this week, and I had to fly home yesterday. So we're still working through security groups. I could have demoed in Max Admin, but it would have shown way too much information. So I'm demoing in the security group that I have most of it set up. But you also get to see things up here. All of your where clause filters are set up here as well. So this application, all of these role-based applications allow the users finally to have control over what they see. And that's going to be really, really helpful, because I can't tell you how many classes, almost every class I teach, someone says, what if we needed a column added to work orders or to PMs or to job plans? And we have to explain that, yes, it can be done. It's a thing that the developers do, but it affects every user of the application, not just you. Now you have the ability to do it just for yourself. So that's what these role-based applications are all about, is they are usable through Maximo Mobile, they're usable through mobile devices online, they're usable on our regular applications. There are these new roles that you can put people into that gives them access to do all sorts of other things with saving the different views that they can see. They still have the ability to create work orders from here. So you can still create a work order. It's not as fleshed out. It's more like a quick report, but they can still create them. They can still search on work orders. When I'm looking at my list here, yeah, I only see 33 work orders. I really only have 33 work orders in this site right now. So I really am seeing all of them. And then I can, sort them or filter them based on status or priority or any of those things. And I can save those as well. So one of the options is going to be to dig a lot more into these role-based applications so that you can really understand how they work. Because you saw from the slide, let me just grab that again. This is the list of all the role-based applications now. Literally every time they bring out a new version, 9.2 just recently came out. 9.3 is going to come out next quarter in the April, May, June timeframe. There will be probably at least one more role-based application that comes out. That is where they're heading. That's the way they're going, they being IBM, in their development cycle. So those are the role-based applications. A couple of other quick items I wanted to show you that are kind of little new features for those organizations using service requests. One of the things that we have in work orders that we have not had in any other application is the fact that in work orders, you can do an edit history. So if you have work orders that are in the closed status and you need to add an attachment, or you need to fix time, maybe someone billed to the wrong work order and you need to subtract time, or you need to add time. Even though it's closed, you can do some of those things using this edit history ability. We now have that inside service requests as well. We have the ability, you can see this service request right now. Everything is grayed out. I cannot type in this part down here. All the fields are grayed out because it's in a closed status. But if I choose edit history, I can now add more information to it. I can classify it. I can update information. I can update related records. I can add additional logs to it. All the things that I need to do on my service requests can now be done just like I can do it with edit history on my work orders. Each time you make a change and save, it puts it back in the closed status, and then you have to click edit history again. So if you do something like add an attachment that has a save in it, you literally have to add the attachment and then it'll close and save. And then you have to hit edit history again if you want a second one. So we have that new feature. Another new feature that I'm very well aware of that you guys should know about, it's little, just like this one, but it's going to catch you because I've been playing with routes. Routes now have statuses. You can build your route, but if you forget to activate it, just like your job plan and your PM, it's not going to work. So you now have a status for routes. It starts out in draft. it goes to active, and then if you're no longer using the route, you can move it to inactive. We're still waiting for that same feature on our storerooms so that when we close down a storeroom, we can actually get it out of our list of storerooms to look at things, but we do have it in routes now. And that one I've become very well aware of just because I've been building routes and I've forgotten on both of them to move it to the active status. So that's just a little bit of kind of a new feature in applications. There are lots of new features in the applications between 7.6 and 9.1, and that'll be another one of those things that you can choose when you do the poll. Then the other thing I wanted to show you, this is, I'm going to go back to work orders really quick and work order tracking. And I'm going to open work order 1070. So one of the new things that IBM has done as far as training and certification is they are bringing out associate certifications. In Maximo 7.6, they had a functional analyst certification, which required you to know the basics of configuration and then every application in all 4 life cycles: the asset life cycle, the work order life cycle, the purchasing life cycle, and the inventory life cycle. There was a lot of feedback from clients that it was very difficult to get employees certified with those certificates because they wouldn't have access to things they weren't doing. If they're a planner scheduler or a maintenance supervisor, they wouldn't have access to do anything in inventory and purchasing. So it was very difficult for them. They could learn the information, but without actually touching it and doing it, it was a really tough test to pass. So they've come out with their very first work order. What is it? It's the work management associate certificate. And it covers everything about the work order lifecycle. All the different versions of work order applications, like the role-based application, quick reporting, service requests to work orders, PMs to work orders. And specifically, one of the things it talks about, which I think is awesome, and I love this certification because it teaches everyone something new about what is possible in Maximo with work orders, is all the different types of relationships you can have in the work order system. So that's what I wanted to show you today. This particular work order was a corrective maintenance work order for a flat tire on a truck. If I go to my related records, you'll see that it came from a ticket. The original thing was a service request that was created. That service request was approved and it was converted to a work order. That is one of the relationships you can have between a work order and, in this case, the service request application and a ticket. There's also other types of tickets with incidents and things like that, but service request is the most commonly used. Excuse me. In addition, this work order, when it was completed, we created a follow-up work order. Now, if your organization uses the follow-up work orders, you know that in your front screen, your main work order screen, when you create the follow-up, it gets information like this, okay? If I'm on a work order and I go under more actions and I go under create and I choose work order, that create work order from that more actions menu creates that follow-up relationship. The follow-up relationship is also in related records. It says right here that it is a follow-up relationship. In addition, if you have other work orders, you have a corrective maintenance work order and you find out, hey, there's a PM on this work order. Some organizations use the process of manually selecting a work order from a list, and then that work order becomes manually related to the other work order. And it tells them to do them together. So that is what this manual relationship is. So that's 3 types of relationships right there, from the SR, from the work order itself for follow-up, and manually relating them. We all know that the PMs generate a work order, so it's generated from the PM application. But the other 2 types of relationships are the children work orders. Children work orders are not seen on the related records tab, but they are related in a hierarchy. And that hierarchy can go as deep as you want it to go. So if I open up here and I look at my child work order, and that child work order is 1077, I could open up work order 1077 and I can go to my plans or actuals tab, and I could create a child to that one. Maybe I choose this 1033 work order, and now this one has a child. Okay, so work orders with children, however they're created as a new row, new work order, or selecting work orders, or even generated from a PM hierarchy, all of that comes into play as a relationship. The one that a lot of people are not aware of, I'm just going to go back to my parent work order, is that a task is a full-fledged work order. And this is really important when you are deciding how to create your job plans. If your organization does not bill materials and bill time to these tasks, and all you're doing is changing statuses, there are other ways without building a work order with 12 task level work orders that you are clogging up your database with. So this task, check conditions of the other 3 tires, up here it says it's task number 10, but down here it has a reference work order number. Now, out of the box, it doesn't let you jump to work orders, but you can actually add it to it, or I can just come in here and I can say, okay, I want to find, use my find field up here, 1075, work order 1075. Here is work order 1075. It is its own standalone work order. The only difference is it has a record class of activity so that we can filter them out. So there are actually 5 different relationships and ways that work orders can be related to other work orders or to like our tickets and things like that. Those are the types of topics that you learn when you actually go through the certification and all of that. So I am running really far behind. I just noticed the time. So really quick, I am going to say Q&A time. What other questions do you guys have now that you've seen some information here?
You talked about the role model being adjustable. And
yes.
Can it be set up for a group of people that like the same one, so that and just give it a new role or something and identify it that way to get it set up quick and easy for multiple people?
That is a great question that I do not currently have the answer to, but I will get the answer for you guys. It is exactly what I have to do yet. From what I've read, I think roles are assigned at the people group level instead of through the security groups. So right now, all we've done is we've set up one account, and we're playing around with it yet. Yes, the user management is significantly more time consuming. Now, especially when you have to do everything in mass and then it has to copy over to Maximo, manage and all of that. But I will get the answer to that for you guys because that's something that I have to figure out. I believe the roles are using people groups rather than security though, so that it can be done very quickly and easily, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, thanks.
So Dinesh, I realized that you didn't make a statement. You actually had the word is. I'm going to say absolutely yes. And yes, we can absolutely do that with Rita, with the session on roles and users. Let me, we literally only have 1 minute left. So I'm going to throw up a couple of slides really quick, just so that we have them in here so that you guys can see them. Let me swap my displays. So here's the poll. If you have the ability to put stuff into chat, if you don't, please email this to me. These are the ideas I came up with. If you want the next Ask the Trainer to be on more role-based applications or users and roles, you tell me, put users and roles in there. If you want to know more about Maximo Mobile, more about the scheduling applications, everybody put in your top 3 choices. And then what I'm going to do is later today, I will actually update our web page that has the Ask the Trainer topics. And then for everyone that attended today, I'll be sending you the invites for the next 5 months. And remember, you can always say, yes, you want to be there. And then if you don't make it, you'll be able to see the recording as well, because I'll email a link to everyone that said that they wanted to be there or tentatively said they wanted to be there, so that you have the link out on our website to these recordings. But this is the 7 ideas we came up with. If you guys have others, please let us know, throw it into chat, and we'll go from there. That's what we're going to be figuring things out on, is whatever you guys want to see. And especially with this first group being a group that nobody's moved to Mass 9 yet, we can get our upgrade to Mass 9.2 if we want to. We just have to ask for it. Right now, we want to teach our first set of classes in 9.1, but we may down the road in a couple months upgrade to 9.2. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll give you time to kind of go through and put those choices. I'll put this slide back in just a minute, but I do want to show you a couple of other choices. Out on our Train Your Way website, we have upgraded our short courses that we offer privately. Those are the ones where we do like the work order life cycle, the inventory life cycle, job plans and PMs. All of those short courses, the main ones, are upgraded to version 9 and 9.1 now. And we still have them in 7.6, and we still have the ability to help you guys with 7.6 training. Our Maximo Complete class is now updated. We do it publicly, we do it privately, we do it virtually, and we do it in person. We have the new Work Management Associate certification course. It can run 1 to 3 days, depending on how much information, if the organization is brand new to Maximo or if they know a lot about it. We still customize training and courseware, and we are selling our out-of-the-box courseware to you guys now. So if you're moving to Maximo, to Mass 9, to Maximo Application Suite 9, and you have to do the training internally, all of our short courses, we can sell you the courseware. We can sell it to you in PDF where you don't have to make any changes to it, like our Getting Started, Navigating, Searching, and Querying class. If you need to make changes to it, we can sell you the Word version of it. And then second to the last slide, if you guys are not already aware of all of the user group conferences out there, they all have a cost to attend, but like the maximogroup.org, those are regional all over the country, and they're usually only about $50 to go to. The Utilities Working Group, Maximo Utilities Working Group, is going to be in Charlotte in April. Go Maximo, if you're a gas and oil organization, end of April, we're going to be down in Houston, and we're running the very first Work Management Associate Certification Workshop on Monday before the conference starts. So we'll have it there. And then Maximo World is going to be in Nashville this year. I don't know that it's going to be any cooler than it was in Orlando or in Phoenix in August, but it's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. So every month I'll keep giving you guys updates on where the different Maximo user group conferences are, but let me know if you need any information about them. I can get you to the links and all of that. And then my last slide is our website, if you're not aware, trainyourway.com. Other websites that you guys should be aware of, moremaximo.com. Projitech is now part of the Navium organization, but Navium still hosts More Maximo. If you have questions, post them out on More Maximo. If you have users still on Maximo 7.6 and you have new users, they have free training out there. You do have to create a username and password to get past the first class, but they have 11 classes of me doing training of our short courses that Projitech purchased during COVID. If you're a developer or a system administrator, I know we have a couple of them on there. If you're not already part of the Tech Exchange community, I highly recommend it. The Tech Exchange community is amazing at getting answers to technical questions. I've been using it a lot lately. And the Tech Exchange conference is one of the most amazing conferences I've ever been to. It is bigger and much better for technical people than Maximo World, but it also has a huge component for end users as well. And then out on our website, up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link to the calendar, but this is also the link. The Ask the Trainer calendar is out there. It has the dates for all of the upcoming Ask the Trainers. We're going to put the actual topics out there after I get the poll done today. And then I will invite everyone that attended to those others. If someone else in your organization wants to attend, it is a lot easier with all the government agencies that I'm working with and all the security we have nowadays for you guys to forward that invite to them than for me to continuously send it to people. I have some organizations that won't accept my Outlook email, some won't accept my Ann at Train Your Way, and some won't accept my Gmail account. So once one of you in the organization has it, just forward it on to everybody else. As people accept it to put it on their calendar, their email address gets added to the actual invite, and then I have the ability to send them email after that. That kind of allows them to receive email from me. So my very last slide is a thank you to everyone for attending our Ask the Trainer. I know some people probably had to drop off because we ran a little bit late. If you have any questions that you can think of, feel free to email me. Email me questions that you have between Ask the Trainers. That's where our topics for our Ask the Trainers come, is what people are asking and what people are trying to figure out. So Gwen and I are back, TTC is back, and I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you guys so much for attending today.